appreciated to give me some time to present our work. This work just like a report of the progress project, which was last for 2 years. It is about finding a universal intent recognition system that can work with different business domain. So let's me start. Uh, is, the following is the outlines. Let's go now deep. As you know already, the customer support is very long process. It started long time ago, and previously it was only a few phone lines dedicated to receive a call from people. But now, because the trade is open globally, and you can receive support everywhere around the world 24 hours, so it's impossible to handle all the calls by the companies. That's why many companies either outsource that or just dedicated some automated system to do that. Those automated system, even before the AI or machine learning, it can do some basic tasks like, the straightforward inquiries by customer can easily be processed and the answer given as fast as possible with good accuracy. But when the query is complicated and involve many things, this basic intent recognition cannot handle that. That's why we need to move a little bit to AI and go advance. Okay, so let's parse that. In order to achieve this model, in order to achieve this project, we have done a lot of literature review. We have reviewed the current system and the most recent studies. We follow this model, Prisma model, to filter all the papers and to come up with the eventual list of models that must be learned, and we can develop our system based on that. So we can say that in the literature, we find two things that attract our mind and also help us a lot, which is customer support system. As we told you before, it was only physically handled by human personnel, and that's received the call. But unfortunately, we have only limited time unless we have 24-hour shifts. That's why the people go to automated system. One of these automated system is the chatbot. Chatbots can operate it 24 hours, 7 days a week, but he works with only straightforward questions with the clearly and explicitly mentioned keywords or intents. Otherwise, it cannot handle that. That's why if you have any experience with any chatbots, you will find if your inquiry is a little bit complicated, you will find he will ask you to wait a little bit and redirect you to direct you to human staff to handle your query, because it failed to handle your query. Okay. That's mean chatbots in many times it failed in the to handle the dialogue, the intent from the dialogue. When there is a lot of sentences, especially short sentences, that's a challenge even for us. Many short sentences. You want to come up with to identify labels, to identify the intent. Then eventually you redirect or you direct the client to the proper staff to help them. So that we moved to another version of customer support, not the one can handle by chatbot. No, we go to the another one which was most advanced. It's called open intent recognition. Here, with realizing that not only the intents or the keywords we are looking for will be exist. No, there's many keywords, there's many intents can be used by people, especially if we concern many human spoken language. So you cannot expect only specific vocabularies to be used, only specific sentence to be used. So you must be open, you must be smart enough to handle that. Besides that, there is a challenge, a real challenge, which is the availability of data set to train your models. Most of the regular and classic intent recognition, they use a label data set, which is a real challenge. That's mean you need to hire people or to rent a specialized company to label all the sentences, all the document you have, so which costs you money and it's time consuming, just only to come up with the data set that can be used with your model, which tedious job. That's why we moved to the open intent recognition, which use semi-supervised or unsupervised. The semi-supervised, that means the available data set with labels will be used whenever it's available. Whenever it's not be used, no, we use another approach to overcome the challenge of existing of the labels. So the open intent is the current what they call state of art technology that's help in this matter, and it's much flexible compared to the regular CSS. So for us, when we apply the open intent recognition system, we follow the three steps, three stages. First, we try to detect the intention via keywords. We just look for keywords and sentences and try to find the treble relationship, which means the subject, the object, and the verb. Let's connect them. Later we try to combine them either by the availability of the labels or the based on the semantic. For example, if we can see some words like hotel, like room, hotel room, day or night, so we can give it the label like customer book hotel, just a label like that. Okay, eventually, if we do that, we come up with something called utterances, which is all the parse sentences that's already went through many semantics. So it helps us in our model. So in order to handle that, eventually we use the deep learning, especially the transformers, especially like BERT. These transformers, they are smart enough to recognize not only the intents from the current sentence, no, but it can refer to the previous sentences or the coming sentences to come up with an idea about the intent of the customer. So a little bit modification done by Zhang and Leo for the BERT to come up with another transformers. One of them is called SPERT, which is a semis SPERT. Another one is called KeyBERT, which used by our team, and also being retrained to come up with more smart labeling for intents, because the challenge is identify the intention of the customer without a pre-knowledge. As I told you before, to have a pre-knowledge, it's a time-consuming and expensive. You need to do a lot of manual labeling, and that's must be avoided. So we try to apply these KeyBERT and semis, sorry, to handle the intents. The good things about them, when there is long sentences, or there is 2 or 3 possible intention in the sentence. So this help us to prioritize or to give a priority one of them, which is the core, because so far, unfortunately, only one intent identified at a time. So maybe in the future we try to develop a more advanced model that can detect multiple intentions in the same time. But for the simplicity and for the automation, because the company asks only one intent at a time, so we, in case when we find 2 or 3 possible intents, we try either to gather them together, like for example, somebody talk about the hotel, about the food, about something altogether, we come like a booking or something like that. We try to find a generalizable term, but if we fail, we just prioritize the most related to the context. Okay, this is the flow of the model of the projects. The data is received, either audio data and text data. The audio data is received from the company. They have some records of some phone calls that have been conducted by their customer. Definitely, these phone calls already pre-processed to remove all personal information of a customer. So then, when this audio data received by us, we do transcriber. That means we transcript it into text. Beside that, the other textual data. So we combine them, we bring them to our model. As I told you, in the model, we have a specific group of intents, a group of labels to identify the intents. But in case those are not enough, or they failed to accurately identify the intent, we try to use the texture, which is a discovery model. That's the generalizable, that's work very well with the intents that's not exist in our labels. So it tried to help us to give us some semantic information about the intents, so it could be later to be fed to the internet recognition. Then later, all this information can be forwarded to the automation system that redirect the customer call to the appropriate personnel to handle the request. Okay, so as I told you, the raw data we receive is audio files, but not that much, because there is a lot of restriction in terms of the copyright and so on. So the data received by us, it was not that much, but eventually it's transcribed into text, and we combined that transcript with these data sets. You can see here we have all possible around 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, all this to come up with enough data set to train our system. So we start training for almost 4 months. Then the implementation environment was Microsoft Azure. Why we select that environment? It's definitely, there is no difference between all the cloud services here, but it's selected based on the request of the company itself. And besides that, it provides a lot of automation in terms of the data collection, data processing, and storage. Then we use more intent discovery. As I told you, the problem not only with the intents that already exist, no, the problem with the intent that cannot be addressed, that's not exist in our data sets that's already collected. So we employ those 2 models, the intent discovery, the DAADB, and the second one is called Deep Aligned for intent discovery. This help, as I told you, beside the texture, to identify the unrecognized or unlisted intents. So they give us some semantic, and to give us the closest the closest intents that client wants to deliver or to convey to us. Okay, so as you can see, the test revealed that work very well only with the preset label intent list. That's mean when the labels when the intent discovered is close to our list, it will detect accurately by DADB, but it's not working well with the unrecognized intents or unknown intents. That's why the deep aligned work better, much better in that matter. Okay. In conclusion, I can say the project after lasting for 2 years, one part of that project was the intent, sentiment. It worked very well with no problem, because it's not a big deal to identify the sentimental value of the text, but the challenge is to identify the intents inside the words given by the people. So around 11 to 12 libraries existed, currently has been evaluated and tested individually and collectively to come up with an idea which a combination of several libraries must be used to come up with the model that perfectly achieves the task. Okay, yeah, we did a lot. We use also another technologies like Pattern for singularization and WordNet for cinnamon. That's the one of the good solution, because people sometimes they don't use the same word, but they use cinnamon. So what we do, we just we go through the text, we search for cinnamon that's match our keywords, then we just replace that with our keywords. That's reduced the complexity and overhead in terms of the accuracy. But unfortunately, Pattern, this singularization, it takes too much time and space. That's why we need to hire a lot of CPU cycle, a lot of memory slots from Azure, which increased a little bit the cost. But eventually, we managed to come up with the model, with the system that's capable to identify the intents of the customer, regardless the domain, because the challenge that's really was hard is how to come up with as general as possible the intent discovery model. That's mean this company wants to operate this model with multi clients. That's mean it could be bank, it could be food delivery system, it could be grocery system, whatever. They need to support all of these. They want to give them customer support system capable to process not only text, also the audio, and not only a specific domain, but all possible domains. That was the challenge, and that's why we go to the open intent recognition system, where semi-supervised and unsupervised models used extensively. Besides that, we try to create a complete separate profile for each client. For example, if we have 10 clients, that means there is 10 instances of each our model to be created. In the same times, those instances learn from the same data sets and learn from each other at the background, so we can improve the quality of the system while the time progress. What else? That's all. I hope it's I given a clear presentation. I'm here to ready now to receive your questions. Thank you.